Oh yeah, baby. Woo-hoo-hoo. We are back with another episode of the Ball Brad Show. If you're new here, let us know in the chat or in the comment section. We'd love to give you a shout out, folks. We are a fast growing podcast, over 107,000 subscribers on YouTube, 75,000 subscribers over at TikTok, 2,000 over at Rumble, and we're growing, and we're going into the new year. And look, we need to make a splash next year in 2026, baby. We need to make a statement, and we will. Now, somebody that's made a statement is Gavin Newsom. Oh, Gavin. And we're bringing him up because I always like to try to share a story as the show kicks off. And I'm driving home yesterday. I had a good day at work. It was nice to see everybody again after the holidays. And then Gavin got brought up in the news. Now, if you don't know who Gavin Newsom is, let me tell you. Drove my state into the ground. He's my governor. I did not vote for him. Psycho, probably going to run in 2028 as president of the United States. If he destroyed a state, he's going to destroy the country. And I fully believe that, by the way. That is not me being an extremist or one of those podcasters or influencers, whatever you want to call them. That is being extreme. I really believe that. I've seen what he's done to my state, and I've been waving the red flags for years. So I'm listening to John and Ken. I guess it's just now John or Ken. One of them are retired. On AM 640 KFI. And I'm driving home, and I'm listening to how Gavin and the Democrat Party, with their environmental policies and their tough to do business in this darn state, is going to drive up gas prices. We already pay 52% more than the rest of the nation in gas price. So if you were unaware, gas prices are down for the first time in 4 or 5 years. And CNN is having to admit that gas prices are down for the first time in 4 or 5 years. Joey couldn't do it. Nobody else could do it. But Trump could.
This morning, some states seeing gas prices below $3 for the first time in years. Let's get to CNN's Matt Egan for the good news on this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to finally be here with some good news on the cost of living front. So for the first time in 4.5 years, gas prices are averaging $3 a gallon nationally, according to AAA, down by 7 cents in just the past week. Gas prices were low a year ago as well, but they're even cheaper now. This is encouraging to see because late last month, there was a period where gas prices were actually higher this year than last year, but that has reversed again. And now we've just fractions of a penny away from breaking below $3 a gallon. Now, as you mentioned, we've got 20 states across the country where the average is actually less than $2.75 a gallon, including North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Colorado as well. Certainly nice to see this. Why is this happening? Well, it all comes down, of course, to oil prices, right? Oil prices are about $59 a barrel.
Oh, that's a nice looking graph. Now, to be fair, they did start at 55. You usually want your graphs to start at 0. Here nor there. You got to show some sort of differential and change, which is why they're zoomed in. We're going to give them it. But it's coming from FactSet.
This morning, if you look back in history, on December 1, 3 years ago, we're looking at $81 a barrel for oil, $67 even last year. So significantly cheaper. And that's because right now, supply of oil continues to outpace demand. It's U.S. supply. Production in the U.S. is at all-time highs. It's higher than last year, but only a little bit higher. OPEC is the big story, though, right? Saudi-led OPEC, they are ramping up production substantially this year. They've signaled that they plan to pause those output hikes next year. But for now, look, this is a good story when it comes to the affordability crisis. Gasoline, it's relatively cheap.
All right. Well, good news for now, Matt Egan. Thank you.
Suckers. CNN being forced to admit that things are looking good in terms of gas prices, but not for my state. Nope, gas prices are still high here. I just filled up the other day, $5 a gallon. Yep. I know some of you just spit out your coffee. You swerved all over the road when you heard that. Yeah, there's a county. It's I think it's called Minot in California here. That's about to hit $6 a gallon. In California. Things are going to get worse here, and we have this warning, this SOS going up for all of you right now. Remember, This is Gavin Newsom's state. Democrats have been running this bad boy for quite some time. It's bad. Real bad, folks. So California's energy crisis just went, I don't know, from bad to, let's say, catastrophic. There's a brand new report that came out, and it's actually down way at the bottom here, where it warns that if one more piece of the state's oil infrastructure collapses, especially the San Pablo Bay pipeline, the consequences will cascade across the entire state. And that means gas shortages, refinery shutdowns, skyrocketing prices, and even national security risks, actually. And the worst part of it is this entire crisis, and that's what it is right now in the state of California, is purely self-inflicted because these people are idiots. They are, that run this state. For decades, California politicians intentionally strangled their own oil industry to make way for, yes, that fancy word, and they love it, green energy, clean air. We don't want to breathe in that smog anymore. Neither do I. But at what cost? So what they did for this green energy initiative was they shut down oil refineries. They blocked drilling permits. They sued energy companies. And if you read through this article, they imposed the strictest fuel regulations on Earth. I'm being very careful with my wording here. I'm going to say that again. Impose the strictest fuel regulations. Come here. On planet Earth. You're not going to find any more stricter regulations on this entire rock that we live on. Global. Hello? These people are idiots. They're dumb. Big dumb-dumbs. And here's the kicker. I know, yes, there's more. They're blown away. They can't believe this is happening. They're so dumbfounded up there at the Capitol in California, they can't wrap their head around it. So now, guess what? The bill's coming due. Oh yeah, things are coming to a point. So the numbers that you're going to see here, they don't want you to see. But you know what? We're going to expose this bad boy from the California Globe. Shout out to the California Globe for writing some damn good articles and just bringing the truth. And I'll tell you what, folks, this stuff that we're talking about is coming from USC professors, UC Berkeley professors. These aren't exactly, I don't know, right-wing people. I hope you're sitting down for what I'm about to read you. I really, really do. Because it's bad. The state of California has lost 65% of its in-state oil production since 2021. Well, 2001. At the same time, its dependency on foreign oil imports has shot up 70%. So hold on a second. Your whole new green initiative was supposed to be all about being green, but all you did was shift where the oil was coming from. And matter of fact, if you read in this article, and the USC professor right here that we were highlighting before, Professor Michael Mish, he was the one that was talking on KFI yesterday, the radio show, and he brought to light saying that it actually would have been more green energy and less carbon emissions if you actually produced it here in the state, because now you have these giant tankers having to come across the freaking globe to bring the oil here. So it would have been cheaper to produce it here. But no, it's all about green energy. Sure it is. They're bought off by all these foreign companies. Give me a break. So think about just how insane all of this is. The state is sitting on 2/3 of America's shale oil reserves. What they call the Monterey Shale. now imports the majority of its oil from Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Canada, even Russia before the sanctions. So, yes, California spent years attacking American producers while buying foreign oil from dictatorships. You can't make this up. You couldn't. Gavin Newsom is going to run in 2028, and I pray to God all of you are aware of what will happen. Please. Yes, I'm being an extremist right now. Yes. I am so close to saying he's going to be worse than Joey because Joey was just an idiot and he had idiots running the government for us. Gavin Newsom's some next level idiot. And the problem is he's the one that's going to be running it. And idiots do idiotic things. We're not done yet. Oh, no. Oh, it gets worse. Yes, it does. Well, refineries are dying off, and we talked about this a few months ago. Check this out. In the 1980s, you just want to guess how many oil refineries we had in the 1980s? We had 43 refineries in the state of California. 43, a 4 and a 3. Today, I just want you to just guess how many oil refineries are left. 7. 7 oil refineries are left. And it's no, hold on. I'm not done yet. Yeah, pull over. Of those 7, 2 more are predicted to shut down by January of next year. Matter of fact, one of them is already shut down. This article is not actually up to date. One of them is already shut down. News reports just came out yesterday that the other one was supposed to close down in April of next year in 2026, and that allegedly they're shutting down now in January in a matter of a month. So really, there's only 6 that remain, and there's only going to be 5 that remain starting January, allegedly. Those refineries produce what's called carbob gasoline. It's a special California blend. They call it the California only fuel formula that almost no refinery outside the state can actually make. So when California shuts down a refinery, guess what? There is no backup. There is no replacement. There's no alternative supplier. And if the San Pablo Bay pipeline collapses, which engineers say is imminent, because they don't update anything here in this state, Northern California, where that's at, loses its only remaining pipeline that can deliver in-state crude. And that's why that report at the bottom of this article warns the consequences would cascade across the state. I mean, they're already the highest in America. The national average is what, $3 you saw on CNN? California's average is $4.56. We're paying $1.55 more than anybody else in the union, practically on average. Mono County, thought it was Monroe County. Mono County, $5.90 per gallon they're paying in the state of California. And that new academic study that I was showing you warns that prices could double by late 2026 if the pipeline fails or another refinery shutters. So basically, if there's any sort of, natural disaster, some psycho lefty wants to light the thing on fire, or there's an explosion or something stupid happens, being effed is a whole nother word. To give you a perspective here, California already pays 51% more for gas than the rest of the country. No other state comes even close to that, you guys. Not even close. Meanwhile, demand is going up. It's not going down. So this is kind of you're getting kind of punched over here by Gavin, and then you're getting punched over here because everybody else, because you're fighting with all these illegals to get gas. But guess what happened? Gasoline demand hasn't dropped. It's actually gone up 7.5% since 2020. The reason why that's a big deal is because California politicians have spent years predicting that EV adoption would collapse gasoline demand. Everybody's going to drive EVs. Yeah, the electric vehicle, the mandates we're going to force you to buy an EV. You're not going to be able to buy a gas-powered engine in California at some point because they're idiots. They're stupid. They don't realize that when you force people to do something, it turns out they do the exact opposite. They've studied this before. This is not anything new. The most famous one would be over there. I think it's in Scandinavia or the Nordic countries, one or the other. And they tried to force women to do kind of manly jobs or do like kind of male gender behaviors. And it turns out that you actually got the opposite. You got more of a split in gender roles. And they did that with the males too. Because Gavin's too busy doing his hair and trying to look good for the ladies, and the ladies are salivating over it. These suburban women. We're all getting shot in the foot here. And these same suburban women are the ones that are complaining about the gas prices. I mean, let's think about that. And if you're new here, do you want to know how I know? Because I've debated them on TikTok. I've debated these suburban women on TikTok that live in California. Yes, I have. They love this guy. And they are complaining about gas prices. These same women that have minimum wage hikes all the time in the state, they vote for it and they're so excited about it, are the same ones that are complaining about the price of their food being so expensive. These are nurses. These are teachers. They're educated people that I'm talking to on TikTok, on social media, reading their posts, looking at their stupid videos. Yes, educated. That's why experts from USC here and UC Berkeley are now warning that California is heading towards a full-blown energy emergency. Foreign dependence is now a national security threat. So here's the detail that's not in this article, but that all of you in other states have to know about. I might as well take the article off because it's not even on there. The Pentagon has already expressed concern that California's collapsing fuel infrastructure threatens military readiness on the West Coast. We got a lot of bases here. You got San Diego, you got Camp Pendleton. You got a lot of stuff that's south. The Navy, the Air Force. Stationed in California rely on stable local fuel supplies to operate. So to give you an idea here, this is just ones that I had to figure out what was even in the state of California. And there's more. So you have the Pacific Fleet operations. You have strategic bombers, domestic training flights, supply chain logistics, rapid response missions, and more. But now California is forced to import more jet fuel from China and India, something virtually unheard of just a decade ago. I don't know if you haven't realized this, we're not exactly the best of friends with China. And as much as you want the media and Trump to believe we're the best of friends with India, not exactly. There was a military analyst that said this, quote, if California can't put fuel in its own bases, America can't project power in the Pacific. You got to ask, well, what's the solution to all this then, Brad? You're just moaning and complaining for the last 20 minutes. Well, the solution in the report is actually pretty blunt. California must reopen the Las Flores Canyon pipeline and restart offshore production in the Santa Ynez unit. Because what that will do, if you read this, that alone, just that pipeline right there and the production would add 45,000 barrels per day immediately. Snap of the fingers. And in the long term is going to produce up to, and it says it right here, up to 100,000 barrels per day could be produced. And then 350,000 barrels already sitting in storage waiting to be shipped. And that's going to be read right here. So what this would do for the knuckleheads in the chat that are in the state of California that love Gavin Newsom and can't figure this out, and some random dude in his closet has to do it for you. Let me spell it out clearly what this effect would do if we just did that very simple thing of reopening that pipeline and restarting offshore production in the Santa Ynez unit? Well, it's going to lower prices. And what would help tremendously is it will stabilize refineries. It would keep the last remaining pipeline alive, reduce tanker traffic, cut dependence on foreign suppliers, improve national security. I don't know, even reduce environmental seepage. Yes, offshore oil naturally leaks through the seabed if not captured. I know. But, yes, big but if the state refuses. Because California's political class is controlled by what energy experts call the green mafia, activists more interested in symbolism than survival. We're doomed. I don't get why Gavin doesn't get it, but it doesn't matter what I think. The guy's an idiot. And you, please, I'm not exaggerating when I say he is dumbfounded. He is absolutely shocked. He can't believe it. It's like, how is this possible? But don't worry, you guys. You know what all the Democrats are saying on TikTok and all these social media? Well, we have 4% GDP. We have the fourth largest economy in the world. Oh, wow. Stop traffic. So I have a laundry list of things right here from my freaking tip of my fingers to the floor down below of a list of negative things this guy has done to trash this state. And they have one thing. Well, we're the fourth largest economy in the world. Guess what? We would still be the fourth largest economy in the world if Gavin wasn't in office. Matter of fact, we might be the third largest one because you wouldn't have a Democrat running our asses into the ground. I am sounding the alarm like no other about this guy. And you know what? If he wins and everything comes to fruition, I'm going to sit here for 4 freaking years and tell everybody I told you so, because y'all didn't want to get your asses up and vote against this nut job. I am sounding the alarm 2 years in advance. I've been doing it basically 4 years. I am not trying to be an alarmist. I can't think. If you want, I'm trying to find a comparison if this guy runs. I think he's worse than Kamala. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm looking at his track record compared to Kamala's. His track record is actually worse. He sucks. Yeah. I love that you're all bragging about your gas prices in the chat. I filled up with $2.70 yesterday. Yeah, way to rub it in, you guys. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, that makes me feel so good. Yeah, can you believe that, you guys? Oh, that's lovely. That idiot bald Brad over there is paying almost $6 a gallon. What an idiot. Yeah, I'm over here paying $2.69, $2.79.99. Yeah, anybody else want to throw in their gas prices to make me feel good? You guys. All righty, well, I'm moving away from California and Gavin Newsom for a while. I've said my piece with that one. By the way, that went way longer than I wanted it to, but you know what? It deserves 25 minutes because that is crippling, dude. And then the same people are going, oh, it's too expensive. I can't afford anything. Correct. You want to know why you can't afford anything? Open up your ears. Because you vote for idiots. That's why. It's simple. Yeah, it's really simple. I'm not saying that's the only variable, but it's one of the big ones. Yeah, it turns out when you vote for somebody that's so stupid like Gavin Newsom, you're going to get stupid results. And you get stupid behavior that impacts you because you are the stupid one to vote for a stupid one. So now you got stupid people voting for stupid people that are going to be put in office to do stupid things. And then those stupid people are going to complain about the stupid person they voted in. But more specifically, they're going to complain about Trump, I suppose, for something that's happened in their locality or their state that has nothing to do with Trump. But because they don't want to blame the stupid guy because they're stupid, that's doing stupid things, it's all Trump's fault. And they're going to call Trump stupid. I mean, think about the spider web of idiocracy that I just labeled right there. Now, you got to follow it. It's hard, but you could do it. It branches out in all directions. Alrighty, so U.S. negotiators in Moscow and Trump's Caribbean crackdown is going on. So read along if you can. Last week, a draft of U.S. peace plan leaked, which wasn't supposed to happen, including significant concessions from Ukraine. By the way, can we figure out who leaked that? That's what I want to know. Jail time, but we all know how things work in this country. You only go to jail if you have an R next to your name or you're conservative. That's really it. If you're an independent or anybody else, you can be a full-blown communist, socialist, nothing happens to you. You burn down buildings and Black Lives Matter, causing $4 billion in damages, no problem. But you raid the Capitol, you either get deleted by Capitol Police or you get locked up and thrown in the penitentiary for a while. And by the way, you should be thrown in the penitentiary. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to jail for it, but we all know it's it's a two-tier justice system. So after outrage from Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and virtually every European head of state, the White House spent the following days meeting with Ukrainian officials who lobbied for more favorable terms. Okay, well, I mean, I'm really surprised that Trump is so dedicated on this. I would have thrown my hands up in the air a long time ago. Now I'm different. But this right here, just this whole sentence, this one sentence, I'd be done. Outrage from Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and virtually every European head of state, then why don't you guys figure it out? If I was Trump, I would say, okay, well, we're not going to do any more munitions. We're not going to sell you anything else. Go ahead and keep the mineral deal. We're out. You know, kind of like Shark Tank, where they go, I'm out. That's what Trump needs to do. And go, don't worry, all those intelligent European heads of state that seem to have had it so right over the last, 100 years, which obviously I'm being satirical and a smart ass because they haven't. These are the same people, like Germany, for example. Remember, Germany wanted to get all their oil and gas, at least some of it, most of it, from Russia. Do y'all remember that meeting? And then they laughed at Donald Trump. They laughed at the guy. So those idiots are going to tell us and be all outraged about how we want to do things. Really. It's always been that way, to be fair. It's always been that way. But you know what? When bleep hits the fan, guess who they call? Guess who they're calling? Can you come get us out of this one, please? We're having a tough time. Yeah, it's real bad. Yeah, exactly. Why is it every time something hits the fan, we get a phone call from somebody? Yeah, can you come take care of this for us? Oh, so now all of a sudden, we're not the idiots anymore, huh? Yeah, idiot with big old freaking baton is going to smack the crap out of somebody. Uh-huh. Well, specifically, Ukrainian officials want to remove portions of the text that had hand leverage large swaths of land in the east and cap their military at 600,000 personnel. And perhaps most importantly, they want explicit guarantees that if Russia invades in the future, the U.S. and NATO will have their back. No. Russia's not going to agree to that. Are you kidding me? No. Because if you notice, if you look into this, he's trying to get as close to being in NATO without actually being in NATO as possible. What is it, Article 5 he's trying to basically implement without actually implementing it? That's all that's going on here. Russia's not going to allow it. Why are these Europeans and Zelensky trying to treat Putin as if he's an idiot? He's psycho. Don't get me wrong. He is. He's not stupid. Just because somebody's a dictator or an authoritarian and all this other stuff doesn't mean that they're stupid people. They're usually very intelligent individuals. They're just psychos. And some psychos are intelligent, believe it or not. Now, you would think that deleting somebody or doing horrific things isn't very intelligent. Correct. I agree with you. Those talks concluded Sunday in Miami, where three of Zelensky's top advisors huddled with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Ukraine Secretary of National Security called the meetings productive and said the U.S. is hearing us, supporting us, and walking beside us, which we covered yesterday. So, Jared Kushner, looks like Witkoff, says they're unlikely to sign onto the current deal if it doesn't allow him to seize large portions of eastern Ukraine. No duh. No duh. That's... You guys, I got to ask you in the chat. We're here live. Okay, we do this show live. Is anybody shocked? Hold on a second. Get this off the screen. Come here. No. Is there anybody in the chat? There's going to be at least 1,000 people that see this when it's uploaded and done. At least. Is there a single person out there that is baffled, shocked, bewildered, however you want to phrase it, that Vladimir Putin wants large portions of eastern Ukraine after he's invaded Ukraine because he thinks Ukraine is Russian territory? Meaning, the whole purpose of him invading Ukraine is to take over. I know, wait for it, everybody, wait for the moment. We're going to let it sizzle. To take over Ukraine. And as a consequence of trying to get this peace deal done, people are baffled, hopefully none of my viewers, that he wants large portions. Wait for it, let it sizzle. I know. Ukraine. Baffling. Who could have thought? I can't believe it. This is how we need to start talking to people. As if they are complete buffoons and dumbasses. I'm sorry to cuss, but it's true. And you know they exist. You talk to them. They are dumb. They are dumb. I'm not any better, but I'm not the one to... If I can sit and... If I could do the show to thousands of people every single day from a closet and look at this as common sense, I got a lot of questions for some other people. If the idiot is telling other people they're idiots, big problem. Alrighty, let's get to some other stuff here. Luigi Mangione in court for pre-trial hearings. Dude, okay, do you guys think this guy's going to get off? The psycho women love this guy. This is like the type of Hallmark movie you get if Hallmark went sort of like rated R kind of. You know, Hallmark's like rated G, rated E for everyone if it was a video game. Do you think this guy's going to be set free? They set me free. My chains are broken. All right. Luigi Mangione, the man charged with murdering UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, appeared in New York City courtroom this week for pre-trial hearings. The 27-year-old Ivy League grad has been charged with stalking and deleting Thompson in December of 2024. Thompson was a father of two, was shot from behind like an animal. I'm not saying the CEO was an animal. I'm saying this Mangione guy is an animal. Doesn't even have the balls to have the guy face him. That's how cowardly some people are. It's already cowardly to delete somebody like this, but to do it from behind just shows that you're a little you-know-what. And the women love that. You guys, they're sending this guy mail like he's never seen before. Thompson, a father of two, again, was shot from behind while walking toward a New York City hotel to attend a corporate investor conference. Prosecutors say Thompson was targeted over the suspect's grievances with the health insurance industry. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of grievances with the health insurance industry. Turns out I have a lot of grievances with a lot of things. Doesn't mean you just get to go shoot up everybody. Yeah, that's not how things are done. Surprising. I mean, it's not the wild, wild west anymore. It used to be. I mean, I suppose that's how things used to get done. But he had grievances, so you just get to go delete a father. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you freaking psycho. This guy should be 6 feet in the ground. Citing a manifesto. Ivy League grad, idiot. Idiot. This is what happens when you have an entire generation. Oh, it's there. When you have an entire generation in the school system that is never taught to challenge thoughts, is never gotten destroyed by an educator in terms of their thoughts, and has only been indoctrinated by these lefties who run the education system. That's what. You have to respect everybody's opinion. I was literally told that in my master's degree program at USC, that you have to respect everybody's opinion. No, I don't. It turns out some people have really bad opinions. It turns out some people have really stupid opinions. No, I don't. I don't have to respect that. I don't have to listen to that. Guess what? If this guy said, well, I think that the health insurance industry is corrupt, so I'm going to go delete the CEO of Healthcare United. Guess what? Pretty stupid opinion, in my opinion. And I don't have to indulge that. I could say, you're an idiot. And maybe we need to start bringing that back, calling people stupid to their face. Well, you're going to hurt their feelings. You're going to not make them feel good. Well, would you rather me hurt their feelings now and stop them from going to prison for the rest of their life because they decided to delete a CEO of a freaking massive healthcare industry company? Or would you rather me call them stupid to their face and to shut up and figure it out? It's a question. I'm not saying I would do. It's literally a question, and I'm portraying me in that situation, but that goes for everybody. And let's not be stupid. You all know that you would tell your kids to shut up. That's a dumb idea if they said that to you. I mean, you would smack them upside their damn head. Recovered shell casings also had the inscriptions delay, deny, and depose. What is up with these people? They're so deranged that they're taking the time to write words on shell casings. It just shows you there's so many people out there that they should not be walking amongst us. There's a lot of people. I don't even think I've ever thought about harming anybody other than maybe like a terrorist or something like that. What is wrong with people? Because you don't get your way, you're going to throw a hissy fit and go delete somebody because you didn't get your way? And if you think he's the only one, there's an entire generation that if they don't get their way, mommy and daddy will call up and try to get their way for them. And when mommy and daddy doesn't get their way, they're going to go delete you. You saw it with Charlie Kirk. You saw it with Donald Trump. You see it with the death threats that everybody else is getting. If they don't get their way, they'll just come delete you. You better start voting their way. Because if you don't, well, he's facing life in prison for the state case against him and potentially the death penalty if he's convicted in the federal case. Mangione has pleaded not guilty on all counts. So it says here that the pretrial evidentiary hearing, his lawyers are asking that the key evidence be suppressed at the trial, arguing that it was found on Mangione without a warrant and before he was read his Miranda rights. The evidence in question is crucial to the case, including the 9mm handgun matching the murder weapon and a notebook that prosecutors say contains writings revealing Mangione's motive for the assassination. The defense also wants statements Mangione allegedly made to police, which they say were made before the suspect was read his rights tossed. Yeah, let's toss out all evidence, everything the guy said. Matter of fact, let's just toss out everything and we have no case. Yeah, that sounds good. By the way, they might get it, just to let you know. Prosecutors say the search of Mangione's backpack was lawful and not unreasonable, as officers needed to search the suspect's bag for safety reasons. Officers needed to ensure there were no weapons or dangerous items on Mangione when they found him at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. That was after a days-long national manhunt. As far as the statements Mangione made before being read his Miranda rights, the state says Mangione spoke to them voluntarily and before he was in formal custody, so Miranda rights requirements doesn't apply. They also note that the only statement they plan to use is when officers asked Mangione for his name, and he allegedly gave a false name in response. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Don't be surprised if that guy's set free, man. And if not set free, based on what they're trying to do here, getting an entire woman jury to fall in love with this guy and then go not guilty. There is something about, I don't know what it is. It's not love. I mean, I think there's women that definitely think they're in love with this guy. But there is something weird where you see this, like I started off with Gavin Newsom. And you see this with the suburban women in California. I know a lot of you live in other states, and I'm trying to portray a picture to you of how in love these women are with Gavin Newsom. It's odd to me. I don't know if it's a bad boy thing or what. I don't know if it's like that primitive instinct inside of us, that animalistic instinct, where when they see a man destroy something, because a man can either create or destroy, there's really one or the other. That when man destroys something, I think it really does spark something in women that just gets them riled up and going. That's why there's that, Blackbird gave me the word the other day on when I was streaming called smut. There's these books, smut. And it's women wanting to get that feeling of being destroyed. You know what I'm talking about. Let's not get weird about it. And so when a guy goes and destroys another guy, I think there's an animalistic instinct in women that love that stuff. I believe Charles Manson, even though he never actually deleted anybody, got a bunch of love letters too. These people are crazy. What's that one lady that deleted her kid and she was a mom? She's good looking. Not Amber Heard. I thought her name was Amber something. Her little daughter. She got off free. Or she got out of jail or whatever. She's good looking. Guess what? I wouldn't be going sending her a letter be like, oh, I want to date you. No, because if I dated somebody like that, I'd be worried that they would delete me. If you are willing to delete your own kid, how would I ever be able to sleep next to you? Yeah, Casey Anthony. Thank you, Jeff, you freaking psycho. Of course you knew that. I love it, Jeff. So, Casey Anthony, she looks pretty good. She's not a bad looking girl. There's no inkling in my body that's going, ooh, she's good. I want some of that. That's how these women are. Oh boy, and there's millions of them out there. And some of you are in the chat probably like that, you weirdos. I wouldn't be able to sleep in the same house as that woman. Next thing you know, you got a pillow over your head. You should fucking stuff out. Yeah, I don't trust it. No. Psycho. I don't like psychos if you haven't gotten that. People go, Brad, you act a little psycho on the show. Entertainment, hello. If I didn't act weird, you probably wouldn't watch. It's not who I am in real life. Don't you get that? That's not even my real face. This is all makeup. I don't even have a real beard. This is Sharpied. Come on. It's that eyelash makeup stuff you guys put on your eyelashes. I don't know what that's called. Mascara. Yeah, it's all mascara. This is 2D. It looks 3D because I'm that good at makeup. I'm not even actually bald, you guys. I have real hair. I wear a bald cap. All right, enough of that. Where are we at here? There's a Supreme Court case. There's drooled. Simmer down. It's not Dark MAGA. We do have Dark MAGA today, though, at 4 p.m. Check that out. Come to Dark MAGA. It will be on premium. I don't know if I'm going to stream news or I'm going to stream video games. I guess you're going to have to come and see for yourself. By the way, a lot of people are... I know the streaming of video games isn't for everybody because we have an older audience, but please understand, there's a big demand for me streaming. We were the 5th largest gaming stream the other day on Rumble. In the entirety of that platform, we were the 5th largest person streaming. We are one of the top morning shows every morning on Rumble. So I know that you're like, well, Brad, Rumble, we want your news. I get it. You guys, everybody wants a piece of me. I gotta do something here. We gotta do something. Everybody wants Bald Brad. We can only do so much content. And co-stream B6, we could. It's very tough to co-stream with people, believe it or not. That's the only reason why I'm hesitant about it. All right, let's get into this. The Supreme Court is stepping into a $1 billion showdown that's pitting the music industry against its internet giants. I think I heard about this. Cox Communications, settle down with that word, versus Sony Music will decide who's responsible for illegal downloading of copyrighted content and whether millions of Americans could lose their broadband access. Did you guys hear about this? I'm so glad that this is in here because I've been wanting to actually look deeper into this whole story. And now we're getting it. At its core, this case asks whether an internet service provider can be held financially liable for its subscribers illegally downloading or sharing of copyrighted material. It's called secondary liability. So this has ramifications for everybody. Every American, dude. Just because this is with Cox and Sony, Warner Brothers, Universal, all that stuff. This will be for Google Fiber. This would be Cox. This would be for Spectrum. All those services. This began back in 2018 when major record labels like Sony, Warner Brothers, and Universal first filed a bombshell lawsuit against Cox, the third largest broadband provider in the country. They accused Cox of ignoring rampant music piracy. This was primarily peer-to-peer file sharing via BitTorrent. This site, like Pirate Bay. So this is a site that you can go on to, kind of like when we had Kazaa. Y'all remember that back in the day? Or like LimeWire. It's very similar to those. In 2019, a Virginia jury ruled against Cox and awarded the plaintiffs a staggering, $1 billion for allowing habitual offenders to steal more than 10,000 works. But the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals tossed the damages, so Cox didn't have to pay the $1 billion. But the court upheld the liability. Cox appealed, and on Monday, SCOTUS heard oral arguments in the case. Yo! Oh, boy. I don't think it's going to go through. I don't know how they're going to be held liable for that. Because you're being held liable for somebody else's wrongdoing. And I guess the case would be that because you opened up for them to conduct illegal behavior in the first place, that you're liable for it? Or is it that you didn't do anything about the illegal behavior that's creating implications for you? I don't know. I'm as Ketanji Brown Jackson said, she's not a biologist. It turns out I'm not a lawyer either. Now, I don't think she's much of a lawyer, but, she's smarter than me. I'll give it to her. Not that much smarter. Hey, what's going on, Hiking 2847? Bill Vick, what's going on? Howdy, Miss Mom. Good to see you guys in the chat. Shout out to all of you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. I just lost my place because I was screwing around reading comments. Where are we at? Okay, the case. The main question the justices focused on was whether Cox had an obligation. There we go. You know what? Maybe I am pretty smart. I always say I'm stupid. Had an obligation to terminate broadband internet provision of content thieves once the music companies had informed them of the theft. Now, you might say, well, Brad, you just read this beforehand. Hand to God, I didn't. Nor did I read ahead. It's just common sense. Cox's attorney argued they can't set a standard here because there would be no way to isolate and punish a single user when it comes to massive accounts like universities, hospitals, and office buildings. You know what they're going to say? Doesn't matter. You should have implemented a standard in a way for you to be able to isolate and punish a single user. Just because it doesn't exist doesn't mean you can't make it exist. If the court sides with Cox, it would reaffirm broad protections for ISPs and potentially constrain how aggressively artists and content creators can pursue copyright claims. But if the court sides with the record labels, check this out. That could have a massive impact on millions of Americans, establishing a standard under which internet service providers are required to police user activity and cut off service to anyone found illegally downloading content. I don't know if this goes further into if you're even using somebody else's, we all used to use like, oh, your mom had Netflix. Well, now you're going to use Netflix too. Your mom pays for it. You just log in from your home. I don't know if that's classified under technically illegally downloading something. So this could have even broader impacts and lead to even more issues of people doing nefarious stuff on the internet. Crazy, dude. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's see if we get something else then before. We haven't checked out in a while. We haven't cleansed our palate in a while. And we need to. And I apologize because, well, we had some things going on. Okay. And those things is called vacation. Here is Scott Jennings talking about Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota after, I guess, over 400 Minnesota Department of Human Services employees have accused Governor Tim Walz of ignoring widespread Somali community fraud warnings and retailing and retaliating against whistleblowers. Wow.
But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
Holy Lordy, Scott James Malaise. You know what? I apologize. I told you this was this is not a palate cleanser. This is a colonoscopy. This is what's that thing they put in your booty and they clean you out? What is that thing called? That's what we're getting right now. Did I say, what did I say?
But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this
Tim
table today,
Walz,
okay?
the governor of Minnesota, holding up a phone in front of a rally saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up and find out the president had died. Someday it'll happen. Someday it'll happen.
Although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
And I used to say he was the biggest buffoon in American politics, but it's worse now. But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this
Tim
table today,
Walz.
okay?
Scott believes it too. Just him leaning in, holding. That is a man that believes it. Right there. That is somebody that firmly believes that Tim Walz is a you-know-what. So this was breaking from Benny Johnson, kind of copying and pasting from bada beep, bada boop, Fox News. Minnesota governor workers blame Walz for massive fraud amid allegations against Somali community. Allegedly, there was like billions taken or something like that. Something wild and bonkers. So, I don't know. Actually, let's see if we get let me see if I can get a quick report on that. What's going on with the Somali community in Minnesota? Un momento, please, as I try to get this information really quickly. Un momento. If you're wondering what this is, it's actually vitamins. I'm trying something new out. Hey, what's going on, Dixie Dogs? It's good to see you. I feel like it's been a while, Dixie. It's been a while. We gotta do this quick. Come on. You know what? While we're doing this, let's give a shout out here while we're waiting, really quickly. Tired of gift cards that screams, I gave up. Every year, it's the same struggle, and I'm tired of personally giving gift cards myself. Finding something that actually means something is difficult for me. Well, folks, I found it, which is why we're reading this. Chicago Steak Company. Oh, everybody loves them steaks. They deliver these incredible hand-selected, yes, you heard that correctly, hand-selected steaks. Filet mignon. Ribeyes, baby. New York strip. All wet aged for buttery tenderness and packed in this gorgeous gold gifted box, baby. When they open it and they see those perfectly marbled cuts, trust me, man, they'll remember who gave it to them. Multiple steak nights from one gift. Now, here's the deal. The holiday season's coming up, man. I'm telling you, you're going to want to get this deal because it's actually premium, just like their steaks. Right now, you get $470 worth of premium steaks for just $260. Plus, and this is insane. I can't believe they're doing this. You get 4 free filet mignons. That's $210 of butter tender fillets, baby. Absolutely free. Over 15,000 5-star reviews. Arrives frozen solid and ready to gift. So go to mychicagosteak.com and use code CYBERFILET, all caps, CYBERFILET. That's mychicagosteak.com code CYBERFILET, and give them something they'll actually talk about at Christmas. Now, what you could do with that as well is go ahead and throw in a Bald Brad book too on the side, and that's all Americana, baby. So really quickly here, the Somali community in Minnesota primarily concentrated in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, often Little Mogadishu or Cedar Riverside, is the largest Somali American population in the United States. About 80,000 to 100,000 people as of 2025. Many arrived as refugees starting in the early 1990s following Somali civil war, with secondary migration, yada, yada, yada. Fraud allegations are taking place. So reports emerged of massive fraud in Minnesota social services, particularly involving federal child nutrition and welfare programs during COVID-19 era. Allegation claims billions, not millions, in tax. Okay, hold on a second. Stop traffic. Everybody pause. Allegation claims billions with a B, not millions with an M, in taxpayer funds were siphoned off, with some tied to Somali-operated nonprofits and businesses. For instance, the Feeding Our Future scandal involved over $250 million in misused funds for fake meal programs, leading to dozens of convictions, many within the Somali community. The U.S. Treasury Department, under Incoming Secretary Scott Bessent, is now probing whether Minnesota welfare money ended up finding Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist group in Somalia via remittances of other channels. Now, Governor Tim Walz's administration has implemented new safeguards, but faced criticism for lax oversight, with President Trump labeling Minnesota a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity linked to Somali refugees. Whoa. Now, I'm not shocked. Not in the slightest. When you import third world, you get third world behavior. Billions of dollars. Wow. Well, folks, thanks for always joining me here on the Bald Brad Show. We're available on Rumble. We're available on all platforms. So always appreciate your love and kindness you show me. We're gonna raid another show, Sean Farish show, which we love here from the Bald Brad. So when you go over there, give him a shout out and say you're from the Bald Brad community. And you know what? You should say, hey, you should have Bald Brad on your show. And can somebody mention mention that I have 100,000 plus subscribers on YouTube? Because that gives a little bit more credibility. With that being said, folks, have a lovely day. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. And folks, we'll see you later. But head over to Sean's show for a little bit and show him some love, some Bald Brad love over on Rumble. If you want to know where we're going and you're over on YouTube, this is where we're going to be heading, is Sean's show over there. So head over there as we rate it, and appreciate you. Take care, Patriots.
Week, whether it was filling in for Vince, whether it was here, whether it was on different, you're gonna forget. I even said, hey, what if we get one of those weird ice storms? We almost got one last night. If you live in Tennessee's